Welcome to the Joy of Cooking podcast. Each week, we gather around the table to share recipes and stories from the authors of The Joy of Cooking, kitchen victories and mishaps, and what we're cooking and eating right now. We're glad you've joined us at the table today. I'm Shannon Larson, home cook, Joy of Cooking user and fan, and natto enthusiast.
I'm Megan Scott, co-author of the 2019 edition of The Joy of Cooking. I'm a food editor by day and avoider of dish duty by night, and I'll never kick a potato out of bed.
I'm John Becker, fourth-generation co-author and steward of The Joy of Cooking, America's oldest family-run cookbook. And if I was forced to be a vegetable, I would aspire to be the onion. Indispensable, long storage life, packed with flavor, can be sweet if treated gently, layers and layers of protection, will make you cry if cut, can blend into the background or take center stage and overpower everything else. That was too long.
Wow.
Sorry. Just kept going with that one.
I'm surprised you didn't change it to potato after Megan's intro.
Are you a bit...
Well, you know,
I
mean,
you
they're
might
they're
be
both
emotionally more of a potato, and I mean that in a very good way.
What, you don't think I have layers?
You know, that's not what I meant, but
They're both pantry items, right?
I just like potatoes. Well, I like onions. You know how I am
Were you going
about.
to say I like potatoes more?
I like potatoes more than onions.
Yeah.
Because
like
onions
raw
have to
onions.
be a specific way for me to like.
So you're telling me that you would kick an onion out of bed?
It depends, but yes.
Okay. Well, I'll reevaluate and come back with an even longer intro.
Shannon, what have you been cooking this week?
I've restarted my eating natto for breakfast
Nice.
thing. I actually went shopping with a coworker of mine at Providor the other day because he was like, I need to go grocery shopping. And I'm like, I want to walk around Providor. And I picked it up and he's like, ew.
Oh,
A lot of people have weird reactions to it.
yeah.
Did they have the wapaku?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what I get. And I think it's great and it makes me feel
Yeah.
really good.
I like it with the mustard, the spicy mustard that
I
comes
eat
with
it in the morning with some rice and an egg on it. And it's just like it.
Do you whip it?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Yeah, you got to whip
Cool.
it.
Okay.
I think that's why people don't like it. It looks a little,
It's a little stringy.
snotty.
Yeah.
But I love it. So I'm in my natto phase again for breakfast. And then I did want to make a plug I was up in Bellingham, Washington last week for work. And there was an Ethiopian restaurant we ate at called Ambo, A-M-B-O. And it was really, really good. So if you're up in Bellingham, plug for this restaurant, Ethiopian restaurant. It's probably the only one in Bellingham.
What did you get?
Oh, we got a mix of things, but everything was perfect.
Yeah.
It was so tasty.
I love the greens. I could just eat a giant plate of greens and be happy.
I could eat injera every single day,
Yeah.
every day of my life, and be happy.
Yeah. I could eat Tibbs every day.
Yep. So, little plug for this restaurant that I had never been to. Bellingham, Washington is also adorable, so highly recommend visiting. What have you guys been up to? It's been a little bit since I've seen you.
I know. We saw your cats more recently than we saw you. They were delightful. Feeding time's a little bit chaotic.
Yeah,
There are 4 of them. So
I don't say that publicly very often.
oh, they're delightful.
I know.
Just requires a little bit of strategy, I would say. What have we been making? So several episodes ago when we had Cheryl Kesey Thompson on from Nancy's Yogurt, she brought up the flourless nut balls recipe.
I saw your video.
Yeah, I just posted a reel on Instagram of that recipe today. And it was an interesting experience because they definitely don't turn out as balls. They are cookies. They flatten into cookies. So I made them into nice balls and they just flattened.
Which is actually why we kind of decided to kind of kick them out of the 2019 edition, was because we had certain expectations from the name, and then they ended up like flattening out, almost like some of the, like, I think the particular cookie that we were thinking it kind of duplicated or was close to was pecan lace cookies.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but
Yeah.
but they're so good.
But they're great. I mean, they're mostly, it's just pecans, an egg white, brown sugar, like a tiny amount of butter, like half a tablespoon of butter. The method's a little funky. Like you grind up the nuts and then you mix them in a pot with those ingredients over very low heat until it comes together, which is very vague. So it's a little bit like, I don't know what I'm looking for here, but they turned out well. I think they just need, to be rebranded or something.
Like saucers? I don't know what you call them.
I don't know. Just, I have to think about it. Pecan crunch cookies or
Yeah.
something, just make it sound cute.
But they were good.
Yeah. And I got to say nut and balls over and over and over in my video, which was very fun.
I did know.
I seem to remember that in the lead up to the 2006 edition, there was a lot of giggling over that. And that might actually be one of the reasons why they decided to include them again in the 2006 edition.
Yeah, probably just the funny name. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also made the recipe of the week from last week, which was the maple syrup pie on page 678.
Which
And
we're eating right now.
We're eating it right now. What do you think, Shannon?
It's so good. And honestly, I wouldn't pick that recipe out because I'm not a huge sweet person, but it's not as sweet as it sounds. And what John was saying before this is that you can put honey or you can use honey instead, maple syrup, but it is so good. And the sprinkle of salt on top.
Yeah, the salt makes it.
Yeah.
Really does. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It's a simple pie, but it's very attractive and homely.
I love it.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Okay.
It's really good.
Thank you.
No, the flaky salt makes it, and I think it would be good with sorghum syrup too.
Yeah, I'm going to try that variation next.
Yeah.
Now that I have re-upped my sorghum supply.
So you're making more pie?
I'll be making more pie.
Cool.
And bringing it to the podcast recording. Irma Rombauer believed that cooking should be joyful, and that philosophy changed the way America eats. Her great-nephew, Kerner, carried that same joy and generosity to Napa Valley, founding Rombauer Vineyards in 1980. The winery was built on the same belief that made the cookbook a classic, that good food and wine should bring people together. And just as the joy of cooking has been in American kitchens for nearly a century, today Rombauer is one of California's most celebrated wineries and the perfect pairing for every meal you cook from the book. Your next favorite pairing is waiting at rombauer.com/joy. Use code JOYPOD, that's JOYPOD, all caps, for 15% off your order. That's ROMBAUER.com/joy and use code JOYPOD at checkout.
Must be 21 to enjoy.
This week, we'd like to welcome Claudia Lucero to the table. Claudia Lucero is the founder of Urban Cheesecraft, a company she launched in 2009 to help educators, chefs, and home cooks make cheese at home. Her DIY cheese-making kits have been featured in Williams-Sonoma, Anthropologie, Nordstrom, and Whole Foods Market, and her books, including 1 Hour Cheese and Cooking with Whey, have been highlighted by NPR's All Things Considered, Food Network, and Good Morning America. Claudia leads hands-on cheese-making workshops and team-building experiences. She also co-organizes the Portland Fermentation Festival and serves on the board of the Oregon chapter of Les Dames d'Escoffier, championing mentorship and collaboration in the food world. Welcome to the show, Claudia.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
It's so
talking
nice
with
to
you all.
finally have you here. I feel like we've been trying to get I have been trying to get you on for a while.
Perfect timing. It's great.
What have you been cooking and eating this week that you're excited about?
Kind of not glamorous, but a ton of cabbage, you guys. I'm just like cabbage crazy. And I'm not the only one. Okay, lots of
love
nods.
cabbage.
Okay.
Cabbage is full of glamour.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I
Vegetable
mean,
of the year or something.
is
I
it?
feel
Okay.
like everybody's
I
making
did not know I was so
cabbage.
cool.
You are totally on
was
trend.
just, man, I just cabbage. It's like slaw. I'll have it in wedges, roasted, and sometimes I'll look at my plate and be like, there are 3 types of cabbage. Like stir fry, a slaw type salad, and some sauerkraut. Yeah, and a lot of black lentils. You too. Are we?
No,
just
I
on the
haven't-
same
No, I'm just
diet?
nodding
Okay.
because I like black lentils. I haven't eaten them recently. What did you make with them?
Recently, I sort of accidentally ended up making a type of falafel because I was just sort of like, oh, veggie burgers. And then in the end, I was like, this is just a falafel type of thing. So then I went full on with flatbread and all the pickles and yummy stuff. So lots of lentils and cabbage. So hopefully a lot of prebiotics there in fiber.
I love the genius who marketed black lentils as beluga.
Yeah,
I know.
I was wondering if you were going to ask me if they are beluga kind. I was like, I don't know. They just say black lentil. So are belugas not different ones? They're more expensive. I know that.
We've reached the extent of my knowledge, so I'm not sure. The ones that I've cooked that have been labeled beluga, they've been a little bit more toothsome.
I wonder why they're called beluga, though.
They are.
think it's
mean,
just-
it seems like they're really round, maybe, but I don't know.
They're kind of shiny.
They do seem different than the black ones I have, but who knows, you know?
Yeah.
Like they
Well,
mimic their
we
caviar
gotta
or
figure it
something.
out.
Right. Yeah. Like
Oh,
they're
yeah,
trying
I
to
was
sell,
thinking
like,
of the
caviar.
whale, which is
Well,
like,
yeah.
why would they cost?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
come
think
on,
it's
it's
the
the caviar.
Reference. Yeah.
This is a guess. I don't know.
I like all lentils, but the black ones, they don't have as much of that like kind of shell on the outside as just like a regular green lentil. But all of them, all the legumes, man.
Yeah, I love legumes. Oh, yeah. We have as everyone probably knows by now, we have a bean subscription.
Yeah.
So we're always trying to work our way through many pounds of beans.
It might be time
How
to
many we
take a
have.
break on the club, maybe.
But then if we
Wow.
get off
Bean
the
break.
bean club,
Yeah.
we can't get back on.
It's like a year's waiting list or something, right?
Or more.
I'm okay with that.
Wow.
We can just pick and choose from there.
As a non-member, I have to tell you, it's still very easy to get their beans.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
You just don't have to get it CSA style and like so many,
Well, we'll talk
Yeah.
about it. I don't know if I'm ready
This
to
is a
break
family
up yet.
discussion.
I need tips on what all to do. I love lentils. I just kind of don't feel inspired when I'm cooking with them for some reason. So I usually just put them in a salad or
Yeah, I guess like for me, especially these black ones kind of replace black beans. And so, all sorts of Mexican applications. And in this particular instance, I put them in the Instant Pot and they just like, there's so many of them. And then I was like, okay, now I have to do other things. That's where the falafel thing came into play. And I love the little patties. So good.
yeah, awesome.
The one dish that I'm always tempted to make or occasionally crave is kashari, but it's an Egyptian dish that has like a lot of different components. You have rice, you have little macaroni, you have spicy red sauce that's kind of on the thin side, and then you have some condiments, and then you
And also the onions.
yeah, and like crispy fried onions on top. And so it's a carb fest, and it's wonderful and delicious.
Yeah, it's
but-
great. There's a lot of components though. So you've
Yeah.
got to like boil the pasta, you got to cook the lentils, you've got the tomato sauce. So it makes a lot of sense as like a food cart or like street food situation, but not as much when you're just making it at home, but it's worth it.
I mean, from a meal prep perspective, I guess you could just get all that going and then have some throughout the week. But yeah.
We're not really meal prep people. I don't like eating the
neither.
same thing every day.
Yeah.
I'm so
I'm
spoiled.
with you.
Claudia, do you have a signature dish? Like something that you
interesting.
are always bringing to the potluck, or if someone asked you to cook something for them, something you really like feel proud of?
Proud of? Okay, let's see. Sarah knows this. Chilaquiles are my favorite, but they don't travel well, so that wouldn't be a potluck.
But
dish.
that
That'd
can be
like,
your signature
okay,
dish
that's
though.
my signature dish. If you visit me, stay the night, we're gonna have chilaquiles, and it is definitely like my birthday breakfast.
Oh, amazing.
Nice.
You're frying. It's kind of a thing, even though they're easy to make. But it's not like an everyday, every weekend type of dish. And I just love them because, leftover tortillas, whatever salsa you have. Of course, they include cheese. So I'm in. You can throw in an egg. You can put in chicken. They're just amazing.
Yeah, we like dishes where there are crispy bits and soggy bits. And I just feel like that balance is
must.
important.
Yeah. And the tortilla.
Listeners are not going to get
comes-
tired of hearing this. They like it crispy and then soggy.
I'm from San Diego and my family still lives there, so we visit often. And so, I hop around all the Mexican markets, and so I get to try a lot of tortillas. And this last time I tried these thin ones from, what is the Northgate is the name of the market. They did not work well for chilaquiles. They just fell apart. So it's just
so too
talk about
thin.
lasagna mush. No, that did
Yeah.
not work. The crispiness that I worked so hard to fry just completely gone. And so the tortilla really matters. And I think it does matter that they're stale, you know? And so interestingly, the Trader Joe's tortillas that I really just don't like for most things work well for chilaquiles. They're sort of pre-stale.
That's a good tip.
Do you ever just use as a shortcut, like if you don't have any stale tortillas?
Chips?
Yeah. Oh.
But you know what? I haven't tried good thick fried chips like some of the ones we have in Portland and San Diego. So maybe that would be okay. But it's just such a pet peeve. And I put myself in this situation. If I go to a restaurant, I'll order chilaquiles, and then they give you a pile of chips with some cheese and some enchilada sauce. And I'm just like, why do I keep trying? That is like a nacho,
Yeah.
So, but, I'd like to try yours, John, maybe.
Oh,
with
no.
the chips from Portland.
No, you would shame me, I swear.
We use the Juanitas, or now it's not that anymore.
No, Juanitas wouldn't work for chilaquiles.
Antonios.
Juan Antonio's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really changed them.
Yeah.
Do you make chilaquiles with those?
Mm-hmm.
Soggy.
No.
Or you work quickly?
Yeah, we'll work
Okay,
quickly.
then
Yeah,
work
yeah.
quick and eat them fast.
It is kind of a balancing act, though.
Yeah.
You kind
I
of
feel like
have to,
occasionally you'll make them and they're a little soggy, but
Yeah.
usually you're pretty good about getting
maybe one out
some
of
of the crisp.
4.
You could even be
attempts
careful
is-
and then like leave some sort of on the edge and
Yeah.
not let them really get soggy. But yeah, Juanitas, Juan Antonio's. They're
It's
kinda
because
thin and
I
crispy.
request chilaquiles
You
way
do?
more often
You
than it
do?
makes sense to fry anything,
Yeah.
so we just do the shortcut one.
Yeah.
My mother is in total agreement with you, though. Yeah, no, she was just like, she'll just recount, like, I ordered chilaquiles at some place and
Yeah.
that was soggy.
I know.
And she
I
gets
keep
really
trying.
angry.
But it's because, like, I've been lucky enough to travel to Mexico a few times, and everywhere you get them, they're good.
That's a
So
dream.
then, yeah. And then they're green and they're red and they're roasted. And so I try that here just because it is my favorite dish. And like too many times. So
Yeah.
disappointed. I have that also with chile rellenos. Do you guys know those? And I think it's just like I'm always trying to recreate my grandma's dishes with those, right? Her versions, and they're just never going to be the same.
Oh yeah, grandmas are going to be the best
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Claudia, what's your relationship with the joy of cooking?
Okay, so I took out my copy last night because you guys, it's like a time capsule for me, and there are not many things that made it from California with me here because we just moved in one little sedan and like one of those pods that you ship ahead. We didn't even have a mattress, but I brought the damn book. And I hadn't really realized that it was this time capsule. And so then, of course, like the first thing that I really got into making, so it's kind of awesome. You'll talk about this more, but was pie crust. I learned to make pie crust with it. There was like a college summer that for some reason, I don't know if it was stressful or just I got a ton of peaches, but it was just like peach pie summer. And so I opened it up to the pie crust page last night, and of course, there's like flour on there. But at the time, I was vegetarian, and I remember looking through, and it's got like a serious game chapter. You know?
Yeah.
So just having to turn away really quickly from like the poor skinned down bunny. I'm not vegetarian anymore. So the interesting thing. Then when I started eating meat, and here in Portland specifically, getting it from farms and sometimes it being more in the whole state, having to learn how to break down a rabbit and break down a chicken. I also did it with Joy of Cooking. So it's kind of this whole full circle, being scared of the meat skills and then here being like, well, I know exactly what book teaches me that.
Yeah.
But 1975, I actually thought I had an 80s version.
It might have been printed in the 80s,
Okay.
but it was there wasn't a new edition between 75 and 97.
Okay, yeah. So I must have gotten it at a thrift store because I got it when I was so young. And, growing up, we had no cookbooks, zero. Like my family cooked the family recipes. And then maybe like there was a chicken recipe on the back of a cornflakes box and my grandma would try that or whatever, Not many of those. And so I feel like it was like this thing that later when I was in my first adult home, I need my book and, broke college. So I got a thrift store version. I now have the 2019 version that I purchased full price.
I love it when people get them at thrift stores, though. I think that's
Yeah.
such a nice way to find a book that you then grow with and
It's
use all the
funny
time.
because as I was looking through it again, I found some pages dog-eared, and I know that I never cooked those things, and so somebody before me, made those
Yeah.
things. I don't even remember what they were, but things I've never even heard of, so it definitely wasn't me.
I search for them every time I go to an antique market
Do
or
you?
anything. Yeah, I just, even if I don't purchase them, I'll always take a picture and send it to you too. Like, look, I
Aw,
found this. Look, I
yeah.
found this.
I
It's
mean,
just really
people
fun.
buy them for us when they find them. Like, we've had many people either get them at estate sales or, like, my grandmother will find them I think she's getting them at, like, Goodwill or something. But she's actually formed a whole collection
Oh, wow.
of vintage Joy of Cookings just from going to Goodwill and finding them there.
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
That actually brings me to a question I had. You got into cheese making.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Did you start following recipes or?
So moving to Portland, I had very much in mind, I lived in San Diego. I finally hit the age of like, I'd like to buy a home and have a garden, grow some food. And this was 2006. So you all know what was going on with housing. And so it was especially horrific there. And so my partner and I were like, we're never going to be able to buy a home here. We actually got approved. And then what we were going to get for it was just like a complete teardown. So we were like, off we go, Shockingly, I didn't think we'd be the type of people to move out of state, but we did. And I just had this whole idea in mind of I was going to grow my own food and I was going to buy from farms and go to farmers markets. I just like had this life that I wanted. And then getting here and, it being so rainy and knowing not a soul, like we didn't know any people here, not having a job yet. I just started again, making pies, making bread. I moved on to butter, moved on to yogurt, and just kind of kept going that way. And then cheese. And cheese was really like a mind-blowing type of moment. It went beyond cooking for me because it was like the awe of science, you know what I mean? Or even like recipes, where you put it in the oven and then it flips in the oven. You bring it out like choco flan or something like that, or there's like impossible pie, things like that.
Yeah.
I love
Magic,
those.
Magic feeling. I always feel that way when I make ganache because it's like, oh, it looks terrible. It looks terrible. It looks terrible. And they're like, oh my God, I can't.
Yeah. Mayonnaise, just stuff like that, that it's just like, I can't believe this. And it just feels so empowering. So that's how it came about. And I don't know if I'm just kind of, I wanted to be a teacher. I kind of went to school thinking that's what I would do. And so naturally my mind goes to like, why aren't we doing this? Why isn't everyone making cheese? How did we forget this? Everyone must know. Do they know they can make mozzarella in 1 hour? So it just kind of kept growing from there.
Was there a specific cheese that really paved the way for you?
Paneer, interestingly, super simple, but I'd worked at an Indian restaurant in high school even. And so I would see them make it, huge trays of it in the kitchen, and I would eat it, but I never really asked, how do you make this? It was just really amazing that they did. And I thought it was way beyond, anything I could do. So then to come upon it later and make it, it was definitely my gateway cheese. Yeah. I was just and now you can fry it and now you can put it in a curry. What? This is what I mean. It was just one of those connection moments where you think back to that's what they were doing. And they were doing this in such large amounts, but it's not hard. And then to sort of tiptoe, into kind of, they were homesteading. I think it was Mother Earth News, kind of homesteading forums. I mean, this is 2007. So just really stripped down type of websites. And they're starting with 5 gallons to 25 gallons of milk, these recipes. And so having to adapt. But did you know that in that 1975 copy of Joy of Cooking, there are 1 gallon cheese making recipes?
Yeah.
There are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I learned a lot from resources from the 70s and early 80s. And I think that was just sort of the, back to the land, 1970s kind of thing that, then I got into. Yeah, I kind of went off on a bunch of tangents, but where were we?
I do have to say, paneer was the first cheese I ever made.
Yeah.
And I recommend people, if you're making a recipe with paneer, it can be really expensive to get it at a store. And it's so easy to make.
But
and you feel so
it's not even that good.
No,
Yeah. It's super rubbery. I don't know if it's just so low fat and so pressed because it's mechanically done.
Right.
It's really hard to have it soak up the curry juices or whatever you're putting it in.
Or frying it makes such a huge difference when it's made.
And I mean, that's kind of one of the beauties of paneer is that it's supposed to soak up flavor. It's so mild by itself, but you put it in something and suddenly it's amazing and tender. And I just recently made curry for a large group in San Diego. And then there was this awesome Indian market there and just walls of freezers of flatbreads and cheeses and just, how we just will get 1 cube option at a normal, average store. But in an Indian market, it was so many brands and so many sizes and weights. And so I got really excited and got a ginormous block. I think it was 3 pounds. But I'm so sad to say it was awful.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I was cooking for vegetarians and anyway, it took really long to take on the flavor, and I thought I would have rather had less cheese, because that was why I bought it, is because if I make it from my typical 1-gallon batch, it wasn't really enough to serve that many people. But I wish I'd made it, and then it would have been delicious, and easy, inexpensive. I mean, all of it. And a fun experience for everybody. But I went for it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how horrible it is. Sorry, everybody. Maybe some brands are better, and I just did not have good luck and got just like a really squeaky, flavorless one.
Yeah, I mean, milk quality matters too,
It does,
especially with a
absolutely.
cheese like that. That's so simple,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you really want the milk to taste good on
Yeah,
its
that's
own.
one of the things I tell people a lot, because a lot of the cheeses I help people make are fresh cheeses that you're going to eat pretty soon. And so I'm always like, just start with whole milk, with a full fat. Like, why are we messing around? Like, your yield is going to be better. It's going to taste so much better. It's cheese. It's fatty.
It's cheese.
It's cheese.
I still remember when we had access to Jersey milk.
Oh man,
It was just
when we
the
lived in
best.
Tennessee, we got Jersey milk from a farmer, and it would be like probably 6 inches of cream on top.
Amazing.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. I would make butter I would take the
Yeah,
cream
yeah,
off,
yeah.
make butter, and then use the rest of it to make cheese and the cheese or yogurt.
Yeah.
And even when I would make yogurt with the leftover, the skimmed milk, there would still be like a layer of cream on
Yeah.
top
Yeah.
because it was so rich. It was amazing. But yeah, we haven't done that since we
Yeah,
moved
that was
here.
the golden age of our cheese making.
Oh, you got into making cheese.
Well,
Well, I used to work on a
mean-
goat farm.
Oh, yeah, we
so
talked
I
about
made
that.
so much cheese, and then I wanted to make it at home, and I, did for a while.
Yeah.
But then cheese making is so much harder at home. I'm not.
At home.
You're the pro at cheese making at home, but like when you have a whole cheese kitchen that's set up just to
Right.
make
Yeah.
cheese. You're making a huge quantity, but like everything is just set up to make cheese. So it
Right.
feels easier in some
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And it was
I
also
could
my
see that.
job. So like,
Yeah.
versus doing it at home.
Yeah, totally.
But like, why should home cooks try making cheese at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially if you're a curious cook and you like this sort of magic, type of result, that's a huge reason. But I think there's a big misconception about it being expensive, and so I think it depends. And also there's, these myths about that you have to have raw milk and, but that's dangerous. Or like you said, it's really difficult or, seems like a big ordeal. So when I was learning and once I started teaching people, sort of led by teaching people and knowing that I wanted to have a finished product in front of them, I started focusing on these cheeses that could be done in an hour. And then I just ended up being like, the first step type of teacher, when it comes to cheese making. And kind of like it blew my mind, like seriously just milk and an acid heat, and like all you do is now add rennet and all you do now is add a little buttermilk and it becomes a different cheese. And doing it in the 1-gallon batch, knowing how to buy grocery store milk that will work, and getting a good yield out of it, I think makes a really big difference. So I think, especially if you're vegetarian, it's an amazing skill to have because you can make so much with just paneer alone. But halloumi is actually super easy to make as well.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we need to try making that
Yeah.
because it's so expensive.
yeah, it is really expensive. What's the yields like, do you think, on from like a gallon of milk?
Yeah,
How much?
like 1.5 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good yield. Yeah, and with ricotta, it might even be like 2 pounds because it's so much moisture still in there, So I think the fresh cheeses are absolutely worth it. To make at home. I think once you start getting into aging cheese, then if you have a
That's
milk
tricky.
connection, it's way better. Of course, like those people, they're trying to use milk. They're trying to preserve it. It's just coming every single day. They have to find something to do with it, right? But those of us who are having to pay, I don't know what that costs now, like $18 a gallon, maybe more. I don't know. You need a couple gallons for an aged cheese. And so, when you're a beginner, that's not the best place to start. So that's sort of my approach. It's like, we don't have to it's not black and or white. If just because you love aged cheddar doesn't mean that that's the one you start with. Like learn first how to make a simple halloumi or paneer.
Mozzarella is what you were
Mozzarella,
saying. Yeah,
so
that's a great
fun.
one.
People
Is
love
that-
eating mozzarella.
Is mozzarella or what cheese would you recommend making first for somebody who's never
I think
done it?
ricotta, paneer, and then I would actually jump to halloumi before mozzarella because
Okay.
mozzarella is part of this pasta filata family of cheeses where you stretch the curd and it has to be just the right acidity and temperature for the stretching. And I think sometimes that's where people go wrong. And well, actually, that's where people have fun. And so then they overstretch it so it dries out. So then you end up with like
If you're having fun, you're doing something wrong.
Fun, yeah, I know. It doesn't seem right.
It's like cheese Play-Doh
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that point.
Yeah, so in my classes, I'll say, like, for fun, let's just do it, with the first couple of balls. But, then we're going to touch it as little as possible, heat it as little as possible. Then you're going to get the most tender mozzarella. So, but yeah, it's by far the most requested cheese-making class and, my most popular kit and all of that since I've started. It has not died down in 17 years. It's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I know, mozzarella. Let me guess what class you want me to teach. I really try to push burrata because it's not harder at all. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's a little bit more practice because you're having to make the thin outer shell and seal the juicy filling inside. But it's the same. You're only making the one cheese plus a filling, So, but it's so luxurious.
Burrata better. I mean, mozzarella has its uses, but if I'm just going to eat it, I want it to be burrata.
Yeah. And do you know the funny history about burrata?
No.
I love to tell people this is that in Puglia, where burrata was born, the legend goes, but it's not that long ago, so I think it may be true, is that because Italians just say, the mozzarella has to be eaten the day of, right? And so anything older than a day is old. So we need to do something with this if it didn't sell. So they tore up the day-old mozzarella, soaked it in heavy cream, added a little salt. The next day, they filled fresh little bundles of mozzarella with it, and then they were like, burrata, and then they sold it for more for the people with money.
Nice.
So it's like zero waste, but a little premium.
Luxury from frugality.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Beautiful.
It's a redemption arc. So Rombauer Vineyards is sponsoring today's episode. And honestly, I've been wanting to talk about them because they just released a fresh vintage of their Sauvignon Blanc, and it's quickly become my go-to white wine as we head into the warmer months. It's refreshing and vibrant, exactly what you want when the sun is out. I've been having it with asparagus with orange and hazelnuts, and I mean, it just works perfectly.
And okay, if you're planning on firing up the grill soon, let me tell you about their Zinfandels. They just released their 2023 vintage, and it's bold, juicy, and has real depth. The kind of wine that just belongs with good food and good company. Something like grilled marinated octopus with shaved fennel and white bean salad comes to mind, but it's so versatile.
Head to rombauer.com/joy and use code JOYPOD. That's JOYPOD, all caps, for 15% off. That's ROMBAUER.com/joy and use code JOYPOD at checkout.
Must be 21 to enjoy.
You also have a book about cooking with whey. So what are some ways that you can use whey?
Good one.
The ones I really like to get people started with, because if you make any of these cheeses that we're talking about, you're going to get almost like 3/4 of the gallon left, as you know, in whey. And it tastes like really low-fat milk. There's still some minerals in there. In fact, it gets dehydrated and sold back to us as, whey protein powder. So, but here you have it at home, and it's free. So why not do something with it, especially if you paid a lot for your milk, right? Like, why not use it? So use it as like you would a really low-fat milk for making smoothies or cooking oatmeal. But for larger amounts, I think soups, especially if they can benefit from a creamy flavor. So one of the ones in my book is, I think it's like a roasted delicata squash and corn chowder. It's amazing because that extra sweetness, because all the lactose essentially ends up in whey, right? So there's a lot of sweetness, and then there's a creaminess, and it has body, this liquid. It's not just water. It does have some body. So I use that to a bunch of different effects in the book, and from desserts to savory things. Yeah.
There's a lot of cocktails in there, which I love.
A lot of cocktails.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got really nerdy and into, how, I forget now what it's called, but when they clarify cocktails with milk. Do you know what
like a milk punch? Or it's just it's called clarification.
Clarification, yeah. I'm not a big drinker, but like I said, I like magic food and kind of effects. And so I thought that was super cool. And then there's a vodka maker, or two in the world now, I think. And one from Oregon State University, I think, or at least they did it as a student project. I can't remember. But anyway, you can distill whey and turn it into vodka. And it doesn't taste at all like milk, no kind of flavor, anything. It's just vodka.
crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like you can turn anything into alcohol if you try hard enough.
So that was one of the fun things I enjoyed with the book was researching around the world what people have done with whey, because it ends up being kind of a waste problem. It's so much, and because it still has enough nutrients in it, you can't just dump it, in waterways. It grows algae and kills the wildlife and all that. And so, people are distilling it and trying to turn it into different things, fertilizer, and, drying it into powder.
We used it to feed pigs on the farm, and then they would have pork, all the pork you could ever want.
Right. Yeah. If you have a farm, that's a great use for it.
I saw that you had a recipe for the Norwegian brown cheese.
Yes.
I love that stuff so much.
Do you love it? Okay, I thought
So
you were
good.
that face. I didn't know if you
Oh,
were
no,
like,
I mean-
so disgusting.
I mean, maybe some people are disappointed because it's delicious
I love it. I
caramelly
love
stuff
it.
and not the cheese that they're hoping for. I don't know why people would be
It's kind of
down on
ridiculous.
it.
Talk about like things that aren't really worth it to make. That one is kind of ridiculous to make at home, but I had to for the book, and it's so good.
How
and
much
it's so
whey
good
do you
fresh.
need to make?
So much. So much. And, it just keeps getting thicker and fudgier and until it's basically like cajeta type of, texture. And it's easy to kind of take it too far, kind of like when you're making maple syrup candy. It then gets granular. So you have to catch it right at that like caramel, where you do a little cheese slice kind of thing and it's still soft. But even crumbly, it's good. But just the nutty, toasty flavor. Oh,
Yeah,
so good.
We love it. What do you do with it? Do you just eat it?
I just eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do something with it?
I mean, I've put it on toast and warmed
Just
it up.
like apple with
Yeah,
apples.
with apples,
I thought
it's
it was really
really
good with
good.
like a tart apple.
It really reminds me of like a Mexican, I think it's just milk fudge.
Oh yeah. I've made milk fudge before. Yeah, not
without
quite
the
as
sugar.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, some help from the sugar. Doesn't
Yeah,
take quite
but
as
when
long.
I saw it looking like that and tasting like that, then I added some extra maple syrup just to see, and then some pecans, and I was like, I just made two things. Because you're simmering away for hours and checking and checking and checking. But it's fun.
You are also a co-organizer of the Portland Fermentation Festival, or Stinkfest. Can you share a little bit about that event?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how long I've been involved. I just first started going as a cheesemaker and leading workshops, just demonstrating cheesemaking at my table. And then the opportunity came to be one of the organizers with Liz Crane and Heidi Nestler, who you mentioned earlier with Juan Pacu Nato. And they're just such a dream to work with. I mean, it's just such a simple, joyful event. For us, we have like a simple template. People just come out. It's magic, But basically, it's called Stinkfest because the entire place just smells like kimchi, just like somebody opened a fresh jar of sauerkraut or kimchi.
That makes me hungry to
Yeah.
think about, honestly.
And we don't sell anything, like I said. Once you pay your ticket for a tasting, you sample, I don't know, it's like 25 to 30 booths, little bites of whatever. And it could be miso, tempeh chips, different vegan cheeses, sake, all kinds of yummy stuff.
Isn't there a ferment petting zoo?
Yes, that's my brainchild.
What is? Can you talk about that?
Yes, that's a bacterial petting zoo. So, again, I'm a teacher. I just want people to touch and smell and go ew. So I bring the starters for anything from kefir, milk kefir, water kefir. I bring kombucha scobies. I bring little slabs of tempeh with a mold. Natto, of course, that's always a big moment because some people call it snotto.
Oh no! How rude!
I know, so rude. But just to give the listeners, who may not be familiar with how it looks, but it's so good.
It is.
I did not think I would love it, and it's all the things that I love, like chocolate and caramel and toasted nuts and coffee. It's just like all those things.
Yeah, it does have a really rich flavor, and it's surprisingly I think it's surprisingly mild.
I agree. Yeah. Oh my gosh, and with a little sesame oil.
Isn't it also, am I making this up, or is it also kind of unique because it's like one of the few ferments that is actually alkaline? Or
I think you're right. Yeah. I've heard Heidi talk about it enough. I should know that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I think you're right. Which I don't know what that means, John, like for us. But
I
know
mean,
it's good for us.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's just unusual in terms
It's
of
just
fermented food.
Yeah, because it's not lactic acid bacteria. Or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Yep.
I love the idea of a petting zoo for all these
Yeah,
fermented
yeah.
foods. It's just so fun, especially like if I could just play with kombucha scobies.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
And it's like, there isn't a chance really anywhere to do that. So once I saw people were really into it, I tried it one year, and then, people just line up, and adults, kids, everybody. And I'm like, touch it. And I bring a flashlight so they can like look at things in jars, and it looks like very science lab, So it just grows and grows every year. I try to get more starters from people. I love the water kefir crystals. People really enjoy those. They're just like crystals. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're pretty. What ferments do you have going right now in your kitchen?
Oh man, they are all nearly probably moldy because I really, I don't know. I'm in a different stage of life right now, I think, where I'm just not tending to things. But I have Vinegar Mother. I have all the kefirs, Sometimes things make it. You bring them back and you revive them, feed them with fresh milk a couple times, and then they're eventually good enough to have again. But I really should be tending these like as a bacterial farmer every year because I, provide all these things for the petting zoo. Yeah, but as far as actively, I'm not fermenting anything right now. Yogurt is a thing I do pretty regularly, and I just do it in my Instant Pot. But yeah, nothing else. I you know why? Because sometimes things go moldy, and I'm very sensitive to mold, and so I got kind of sick earlier in this year, was it? Yeah, and then I was like being a parent to myself, like, if you are not responsible enough to take care of your things in jars, you cannot keep them.
All of your little pets.
Yeah. So you cannot keep things in jars anymore. Because you guys, I was finding like 2021 pears and booze, and like they might have been good then, but
we
it wasn't
do a lot
good
of
anymore.
We do that. We, we'll start this project. I think we still have cherry bounce from like 10 years ago. It's not fermented, but it's it's just cherries.
That's going to be just fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's also
fine.
just like I can't believe we still
so much sugar, so much alcohol.
Right. Yeah,
There's
some
just
things
no
are
way.
fine, but yeah, others this was like a half-gallon jar of kombucha, and all of it dehydrated down to the SCOBY, and then it was just like sporulating into the air, however you say it. Yeah. And I was breathing it, and I was like, there's mold in our walls, and I was like tearing everything up until I found that jar, and that's when I was very angry with myself.
Do you typically just keep all your ferments in a room?
Yeah, they are just in one room, and it happens to my desk where I sit and work is right in front of this whole area. Supposedly, I thought that's how I'd keep a close eye on them. But it was like 3 or 4 jars deep, and I just did not find that one. And, because kombucha, you don't seal it 100%, so it was able to breathe out into there. I mean, it made me really sick. I thought I had COVID like 3 different times. And it was all mold.
Oh, no. Tend your ferments, I guess. Don't make sure you walk your kombucha starter.
You're responsible. Feed them. Yeah. This was a lot of years of it just dehydrating. It's unusual, I think.
So every week we answer a caller question, and this week we're talking about hard-to-find editions of Joy of Cooking. Sarah, can you read the question?
Had to go joy hunting, and I'm so excited to have found a 1951 edition. Are there editions that are hard to find or extra rare so I can keep an eye out?
Would you like to start?
I think that the obvious first answer is like the 1931 edition, the original, not the... There was a facsimile edition that was printed in 1998. But yeah, the original first edition, there was only like 3,000 copies of that. So yeah, those are pretty pricey and hard to find, especially with the dust jacket. If you find one with a dust jacket,
it's like finding the treasure chest at the end of the rainbow kind of deal. Yeah, they're dust jackets just don't survive.
Right,
yeah. I saw one with a dust jacket on ABE books
today.
Yeah,
when you were looking. Wow.
And it was actually like cheaper than some of the other ones, which was odd.
Surprising.
Seems like it was maybe a little underpriced, but
What was it being sold for?
I think it was like 6,700, 7,000, something like that. But yeah, I feel like it's like a minimum of 5,000 maybe for a copy without a dust jacket that's like,
That's a lot of money.
decent.
Yeah, that's a lot
Yeah.
for a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's I would not. Well,
I'm
I
gonna
have
look
paid
for
that, but I will not.
so hard every time I go anywhere now.
You got to find somebody who doesn't know what they have.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the rarest, though, if you take into account the fact that the 1931 was reprinted in the 90s, is definitely the 1936 edition. And that was also like the first that has our unique method of writing recipes, the action method. That was the first edition that Irma started using that recipe writing format. So yeah, those can get up
I
there
think
too.
The older
but-
you get, the more rare they are because people just used them to death. People would use them until they fell apart and then they would get thrown away when somebody died and their kids were like, we're just going to toss this old book. And so, yeah, you got to find the older editions.
So 31 and 36.
Yeah. And then
And then,
43, I mean,
Those are pretty common.
They're reasonably common, but I like the 43 edition because it's the wartime rationing edition where it has like, here are all the recipes where you can substitute meat with
Soya
beans.
Loaf. Yeah.
Or like here are recipes that don't use sugar. They use some other sweetener because sugar was being rationed. So it's just like it's interesting historically to have that one. Maybe not so valuable unless it's like mint condition with the dust jacket. But then there are some like oddball ones.
Yeah, they're like incredibly rare, but also worth nothing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so like there was a counterfeit edition that was printed in Taiwan like sometime in the 70s. It's a counterfeit 1963 edition, so it's the one with the blue cover, blue hardback, I should say. And then the 1997 CD-ROM, incredible, incredibly rare, probably not usable in any way.
Yeah. Amazing. We do have a CD-ROM.
You guys do
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
We kept one around.
There's also, I mean, it's not super rare, but there's the deluxe edition that came with the box. It like was sold in a box, presentation edition. So you would give it as like a wedding gift, and it had its own box, and it had a special inscription page where you could write, to whoever from so and so. That one's kind of cool. It doesn't have a ribbon though, which is kind of a mark against it. But then there's editions that were owned by notable people. So recently there was a edition that went up for sale that was owned by Sylvia Plath.
Oh, wow.
And she had written little notes in the margins. So that was really cool to see. I wanted that one so bad.
I think it was like breaded veal cutlet recipe, and it's like Ted likes this or something. Just like little marginalia.
Do you remember what that one went for?
I did look it up. It went for 5,800, and then I also one went up for auction in like 1999. That was the same edition in 1951. That was Marilyn Monroe's, like with her Fannie Farmer. The two of them together went for $29,900, and that was in 1999 money, which is like
That's a record, I think.
50. It's like 58,000 in today money. But yeah, Marilyn Monroe got the star power.
Yeah. Yeah, but those are the most valuable ones. I mean, honestly, the later ones, like mid-century and beyond, there were just so many copies printed that they're not rare, and unless they were owned by somebody famous. So
The other incredibly rare, but also not worth much, is the comb-bound and the paperback editions, because those are just falling apart.
yeah.
So
Which I actually found out that the comb-bound one was not authorized to be printed. Have we talked about this already?
yeah, we talked about it this week. I feel like you found some correspondences in the files.
Yeah, I was going through all these old files because we have all these files that we haven't organized, and they're just sitting in boxes in our garage, which feels not great because if something flooded, they would all be gone. A lot of it's not interesting. It's a lot of printed out or old emails that we don't need. But I did find some correspondence about a legal a dispute regarding the comb-bound 1975 edition, because I guess whoever printed that, they had a license to print Joy in a soft cover, like a paperback, but they weren't authorized to print it in a comb-bound, but they did. So I didn't find the outcome of what happened in that case, but that was kind of an interesting thing to find in those boxes.
Unauthorized.
I think what's valuable about them really is like what we've talked about is when you find somebody's previous version at like an antique store or a Goodwill and they have personal notes in there. I just think that like even if it's not valuable monetarily, I just love them so much.
I know.
It's so special.
We've held on to this paperback edition that somebody put it into a Ziploc and sent it to us because it was completely falling apart and was just like, there was just the sweetest note. I mean, if I remember, I will try to like post that when we post the episode.
Yeah, we should post that. It was really sweet because the woman who sent it to us, she got in touch via the old website that we had, and she said something about, she was going into assisted living and probably wouldn't be cooking much anymore, but she was worried her kids wouldn't understand the significance of the book, and so she wanted us to have it. And she sent it with this
it was just like this
awesome note.
Yeah, it was like an abbreviated history of her life, and like
gosh.
this book was saved from a house fire. This book helped
been
me
through
nourish
floods.
4 children. It's been through flood. I can't remember all the blow by blows, but it was really sweet.
So meaningful to
special.
receive that. Yeah. So yeah, we have several copies that are just people's personal copies that they wanted us to have, or we found, like, I had one person give me a copy that it had been set down on a stove burner, so you had the imprint of the stove eye on it, which is just so fun. I'm like, maybe I should get a tattoo of that.
Yeah, definitely an argument in favor of those old-timey coil elements.
That's a lot of character.
Yeah, you can't get that with induction.
Boring.
Do that to mine.
Oh, hello. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about an easy way to enhance your meals. Whether they are a healthy vegan grain bowl or that late night snack we'll pretend didn't happen the next day, and that easy way is Marshall's Hot Sauce. For 15 years, chef and cookbook author Sarah Marshall has been hand-making and bottling these delicious sauces. She works directly with local farmers and highlights the lovely flavors of fresh seasonal produce. They're gluten-free, there are no additives, dyes, waxes, or binders, and they have mouth-watering combinations like serrano ginger lemongrass, or habanero carrot curry, or even whiskey smoked ghost, which was featured on Hot Ones. So head on over to marshallshotsauce.com, that's Marshall's, HAUTESAUCE.com, and see all the available sauces and spice blends. Oh, that's right. Sarah's created spice packets by dehydrating and freeze-drying actual produce, so you can impart flavor into your food with more vegetables. But that's a story for another day. Find all of these delicious creations at marshallshotsauce.com and enter HOTJOY, that's one word, capital H, AUTE, capital JOY, one word, at checkout for 20% off. That's HOTJOY at checkout for 20% off. And now, back to the show.
So this week's Joy Scouts recipe has nothing to do with old Joy of Cookings, but we wanted to assign paneer on page 245, since that was Claudia's gateway cheese. And it is truly so easy to make and so rewarding. And you can use it right away by making Palak Paneer. You can also, I love paneer because it doesn't melt. So you can sear it and get it nice and brown and toasty, and then serve it with like a sauce or...
I mean, it's just cheese croutons, too.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Salad.
Lettuce wraps, just
Yeah, what
endless.
other ideas? What other ways to use it?
That's my favorite, and I think I put that in my 1 hour cheese book because I did like a 5-minute recipe after the 1 hour cheese. So just like, let's get through this, let's just get to the eating part. So yeah, you sear the paneer, but sprinkled with like curry spices, some ghee in the pan, and some garlic, even powder. Just get that all like crispy, and then just like some crunchy, even like iceberg lettuce, just like, the crispiest, juiciest lettuce. That, maybe a little kimchi in there. Yum. Just mix all kinds of things.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
So if you make paneer, that's on page 245. Right, it's embedded in the Palak Paneer recipe. Let us know what you think. Tag us on Instagram at The Joy of Cooking. If you have a cooking question or joy story to share, call our hotline at 503-395-8858. Leave us a message or send us a text. We'd love to hear from you. Sarah, can you please read the next caller question?
Hi, this is Pat from Dewberry, Massachusetts. The recipes I bought Joy for over 40 years ago were strawberry fruit punch and marshmallows. I gifted my copy to newlyweds. Are those recipes in the new edition? I love your podcast. Thanks.
Thanks for listening, Pat. Yeah, we're happy to get into that next week. I think there have been some changes, but maybe not so many changes. We still have some things. We'll have to do some research and make sure. All right, what is everyone cooking this week?
Ooh. My husband's going to New York, so I'm on my own next week.
Ooh, what are you going to make?
I don't know. That's what's so exciting is like, he's definitely more of like, okay, it's dinner time. I need a full dinner. And I'm like, I hate to use it. It's overused, like girl dinner type thing. But I love just putting a random plate together and not thinking about it. I always order sushi one night when I'm alone and just like eat sushi by myself and watch like When Harry Met Sally. So I'm just excited to not have, I love my husband, but to not have that pressure of being like, what are we doing for dinner tonight? What are we doing for dinner? I can eat pickles. It's fine. I'll be fine. So I'm excited to not meal plan and to just do whatever I want. And this sounds so selfish, not think about anybody else.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of a treat when you don't get to do it very often.
Yeah. And I'm usually the one that travels. He is rarely the one that leaves the house. So it's like, it's a treat for myself to be able to just not worry about it. I love you, John. I love you. But yeah, I'm excited. And I'll miss him.
What about you, Claudia? Any thoughts?
I've been craving fish tacos.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, I bought some tilapia, so maybe just some lightly breaded tilapia.
With some cabbage slaw.
Of course. Some simple salsa. Yeah, of course. It's probably the cabbage that's really calling to me in the whole situation.
Love fish tacos. We should do that.
Yes.
We haven't done that in a long time.
I bet it's just like the one sunny day that we've had that made me go, fish tacos.
Yeah.
I'm in Baja suddenly.
Well, we're having friends over this week, and I think we're going to make, we haven't really talked about this, but I'm proposing that we make pizza in our pizza oven because we don't use it enough.
Fine.
Fun. I love it when you guys make pizza in that oven. It's delicious.
It's so good, and it's so fast.
Yeah.
It's like 3 minutes.
We need more practice. I need more practice with the pizza oven.
The good news is that it always is delicious. It doesn't
I know.
matter if it's not perfect. It's still pizza. And so I'm kind of plotting out what pies. Like I always want to make too many pies because I just have too many combinations of things that I want to make.
We need to do one that's kind of like a riff on that quote unquote Turkish pasta that we did.
Like the Monty flavored.
Yeah, the
pasta
Monty
dish.
inspired pasta.
What is that?
What are the flavors?
Well, it's like there's a really garlicky and lightly salted yogurt, like a drained yogurt, Greek yogurt. And then it's a butter that's been infused with chilies, chili flakes, and also tomato paste. And then there's like ground lamb or ground beef and onion component as well.
We could do that.
That sounds really good.
So you make the pizza for people. It's not like a do your own toppings bar situation.
You know,
because then you can
done
blame
that.
it on them.
Yeah, I don't know.
You made a bad pizza.
At other people's houses, we've been guests at pizza parties where this has worked out perfectly. Like they'll have like two tables going, and they'll have all the ingredients. They'll tell people like, "Hey, bring some ingredients." But then, like for some reason, like we've tried it in the past at our place, and I don't know. I think our backyard's cursed.
It gets a little chaotic. It's not cursed. It's the reason you think it works out at other people's houses is because you don't have to manage the whole production.
Right.
When we're managing it, it's like, oh, this is so much work, and then you end up with so many toppings, and we save them, but that's so much because you need almost no toppings for a pizza.
That's true.
So yeah, and then we're also
we
launching
always
the
buy
pizzas
too
into
much.
the oven, so you have to stand there the whole time while everyone's eating and be responsible. So that's why. But this time we're just going to decide what we're going to do and let that be that. But I'm making that potato and parsley pesto pizza again.
Parsley pesto.
Yeah, it's a Lovely's 50/50 creation that we always get when they have it. So I'm going to just make it at home.
I love pesto made of all the things, so I don't know if I've done parsley. Yum.
It stays green forever.
yeah, and I mean, it's perfect for when you don't have basil. Like,
Yeah.
that's harder. Yeah.
Before we wrap, Claudia, where can listeners follow you?
Instagram, just Urban Cheesecraft on Instagram. I'm not super active, but I will get DMs and comments and stuff if people go on there.
And you made a little cheese making class for listeners,
did.
right?
Yes. So to make stracciatella, we were talking about the filling for burrata, which is like pretty much why you want burrata. And it's just crazy that, you can whip it up yourself in 5 minutes. So yeah, a little class for everybody.
Awesome. We'll put that in the show notes so everyone can
you.
find it.
That's so exciting.
Thanks for listening to the Joy of Cooking podcast. Before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast by subscribing to the show and leaving us a review. Follow us at joyofcooking.substack.com and on Instagram at The Joy of Cooking. Stay tuned for next week where we'll talk about old Joy of Cooking recipes. And don't forget to make this week's recipe paneer on page
Palak Paneer.
245. Call in with questions, hopes, history, or where you find joy in the kitchen. Our number is 503-395-8858. That's 503-395-8858.
And we couldn't do this without our fantastic team at the Joy of Creation production house. Thank you to Haley Bowers, our audio engineer, and Sarah Marshall, our producer.
If you love the stories we bring you each week, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As an independent media company, your support is absolutely essential. It allows us to continue creating high-quality professional episodes that amplify the voices of women, small business owners, writers, artists, and creatives, and keep their stories free from commercial pressure. By becoming a Patreon member, you're not just supporting us, you're investing in the future of independent media. Please visit patreon.com/The Joy of Creation Production House to join our community today. Thank you for listening and supporting our podcast dreams.